What is happening, Flip Flop fam? I'm super excited to have Eugene here with me today. But for people who don't know, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I am Eugene Gershman. I run GIS Companies, which is a real estate development services company. We've kind of graduated. I originally joined the family business. My father was a general contractor, commercial contractor. I joined him about 22 years ago. We gradually pivoted to real estate development, started buying properties, developing them ourselves. Eventually, shut down the construction company, went development full time and a few years ago started partnering with owners to help them develop their sites where we would bring in our expertise and put together the team and kind of run through it, and from there evolved into a full service development services company. So essentially we are the a consultant, if you will, that would come in and put the deal together. But unlike all of the consultants, we don't just charge a fee and sell the time. We take a small JV equity ownership in the deal where all of our profits are deferred until the very end, until the project is hopefully successful. And that way the owners know that we are actually incentivized to perform and not just to run the meter.
Yeah, no, I love that. So what kind of projects are we talking? Like how small, how big?
So the smallest one we would do in this market, probably, I don't know, probably about 1 million too. In the greater Seattle area. We are working on projects nationwide and out of town, out of state. Our minimum, I would say, is about 5 million, 5 to 10. Our sweet spot is about 20 to $30 million size project, primarily in multifamily, single family. So it could be an apartment building, townhomes, subdivisions, built to rent, that type of a scale.
Gotcha. So I've got a hunk of land and an idea. I can come to you and make it real.
Basically, yeah. That's
For the lay people.
that's that's what most of my conversations are about. I've got a piece of land I could sell. A bunch of developers are offering me a bunch of money for it, but I've owned it. It's been in our family for generations. I don't just want to sell. I would love to build something on it, but I'm not a builder. I'm not a developer. I don't really know what to do, how to do it. Help me out. And we look at the possibilities and figure out what can be done, and then structure the deal.
So what does that person need? Do they need any experience at all? Or can they literally just have a piece of land and you'll help them with the whole deal?
They don't need to have any experience. They could literally just call us and say, here's the land, figure it out. And I love relationships like that because I get, the creative freedom. And obviously, they still make decisions. It's their land, but I could tell them, look, here's the best thing you could do here. Let's go for it. And they let us do it. And then we had others who are developers, maybe with not enough experience. Maybe they've done smaller projects. This is their biggest project. Or maybe, like, I had a conversation recently. This gal called me about this piece of land and she said, I'd like to develop it. My son is graduating from college. Can he work on a project with you? Fine. If the kid wants to learn and wants to be in development, by all means. Other owners said, I want to be involved. I want to sit in every meeting. I want to control every decision. Fine by me. We're happy to be open book. I mean, we're always open book, but they could be as active or as passive as they really want to be.
Yeah, I love that. So you just kind of help at every phase. Any parts of the country you don't work in?
No, I really haven't put together a blacklist. We've,
I know some
we've
places are
been.
easier than others. So
Well, I mean, for sure. But I mean, hey, I've been in Seattle for the last 20 years. If there are places that are hard, this is it. And, I recorded this little talk on YouTube where I was talking about challenging deals, challenging sites. And I'm like, look, challenging hard is still doable. Like, don't talk to me about what's hard. Is it impossible or is it not impossible? If it's
Yeah.
not impossible, then we can figure it out. I mean, everything else, politics, yeah, I mean, I personally hate politics, but sometimes you have to play politics to get shit done. So that's just how it is.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, so where can people find you? I mean, I know there's gonna be a lot of people interested in this just from builders that have a hunk of land. I mean, to somebody that's got a 20 acres of farmland somewhere. Will you go in and kind of give people a feasibility, those kind of things out of the get?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we start with. We start with feasibility. And in fact, to answer your previous question, giscompanies.co is our website. On there, we have a feasibility study checklist that's a free download. So anybody can download the checklist. And if they're interested in development and want to see what it takes, literally go through the steps and do it yourself.
Yeah.
My podcast, Real Estate Development Land to Legacy, I talk to all people from all walks of life who touch development in one way or another. And so if people just want to learn about development and see if they could do it on their own, I've got a ton of content out there.
Awesome.
But yeah, we start with feasibility. Can't do anything without feasibility and due diligence. We normally offer a complimentary cursory review, which frankly we're getting so busy that we're considering to start charging for the preliminary pre-feasibility review, just because there's a lot of demand. But for now, at least, if you're considering, if the listeners are considering doing a feasibility, give me a call. I can do a pre-feasibility check for free. But we look at the zoning, see what's available, what they could build by right, see if a rezone could be a possibility there. We look at the history of that municipality, if they have approved rezones in the past, and if there's been a lot of opposition from the neighborhood, from the neighbors, just see how development friendly or not the municipality is. But we figure out what could be done, and then we identify sort of the highest and best use of the land. From there, we need to be engaged to do a full-on feasibility study where we would talk to the municipality, talk to some engineers, bring in a design architect, a civil engineer to lay out the site. We would talk to the city or the county about our ideas about a potential project that we're considering, do what's called a pre-application conference or meeting with them, and then conclude that with a detailed calculation pro forma that factors in costs. We'd get an input from a contractor for sure to get the cost data. We would research the market, get the data, and see if the project makes sense.
So I'm gonna play the person who's listening to this right now and just has a piece of land. And the two questions I would have, and I've done this for 20 years, so I get it. But if I just have a hunk of land and somebody's telling me it's, worth X, how do I find the money to build the project once you tell me it's a good idea? And how do I find a good builder in that area?
Oh, my favorite question. So money follows good deals. So you can't
Yeah.
find the money until you can identify what you can do and what the investor would get for their money. Early stage is always hard because so there's a ton of investors that like private deals, that like development. They usually come in at the very late stage once you already have the project designed, permits issued, senior debt financing procured, and you're ready to go. And the reason is they don't want to wait. They know permitting takes time. They know that things change during the design permitting, and they don't want to lock their money too early because of all those uncertainties. So early money is harder. What we recommend doing is so we have a number of investors that we could reach out to, but we would create a GP, what we call a GP fund, which is a general partner fund for early investors. And that is the typical target market for that is your angel investors, the folks who like riskier deals, who don't mind getting in early, who know that the likelihood of success is questionable and your early projections are usually not realistic. But they still know that you've got the land has value, and that could be fairly easily assessed and appraised. But uh, bridge. So if the owner has absolutely zero cash that they can add, I would always recommend that the owner invest a little bit of their own cash early on just to test the market.
Hmm.
The product that they would get from us, the feasibility study, is an asset. So it's not just a throwaway. If they eventually decide to sell the land, they would attach that uh, and to their sales documents, and the future buyers would already see the research that's been done by an independent third party. But then an easy way to bridge the gap is a lot of times a bridge loan. Most lenders would loan at least 50%, sometimes 60% of the land value. So you could use that bridge loan for the early pre-development work. Get your permits, get your designs done, get your capital raise going. I recently wrote about it. Always have to have capital raise budget programmed in the deal early on so that while you're designing, while you're permitting, you're also raising capital for future construction. But then, yeah, later stage LP investors, they're easier to find. There's a lot of investors out there, and there's a ton of syndicators and larger deals. There's institutional investors. They're finally coming around. Institutional, last few years, they've been waiting for those distressed deals that they could buy. Now they are opening up their books and they're looking at new construction again. So yeah, that's short answer. Well, not too short, but kind of how we go about raising capital. As far as construction, yeah, I mean, I would start by talking to contractors in the area, see who the GCs are that build this type of project, and start with them.
Yeah, I think on the money side, what you said right at the outset there is so important. I work with a lot of custom home builders, and almost all of them would like to get into spec if they're not in spec already, and they think they've got to have $1 million laying around to build a spec home. And I'm like, you don't need any of your own money if the deal's right. You can get
Yeah,
paid to put the deal together if the
yeah,
deal's right. It's
absolutely.
it's exactly what you said. Money follows, good deals. And it's like if you're gonna turn around 30% for somebody, you'd be amazing how fast cash falls from the sky.
Yep, exactly, exactly.
Speaking of, say we're building a triplex, it's 6 million bucks. What is a investor looking for in a return? Because I think there's a lot of misconception around that.
Oh, there's a ton of misconception. And if you follow a lot of real estate investors and syndicators online, a lot of them are talking about IRRs. A lot of them are talking about protecting the investments, yields, dividends. There's a lot of jargon out there. What we decided a few years ago is that we are going to simplify terminologies and simplify the math. Even though in all of our projections we do show IRRs, I don't like focusing on them because the thing about internal rate of return is it's very tight to the term of the project, and development usually takes longer than you originally anticipate. And it's not just the construction takes longer. Construction, I mean, if the project's designed right and if a contractor knows what they're doing, typically they would put together a schedule early on and they should be able to stick to the schedule. But the permitting timeline, especially in major metro areas, is unpredictable. I mean, maybe south. I hear rumors. I've never done it. I've never built a project in the southeast, but I hear rumors that you could get projects approved within a few weeks or months. Here in
It's
Seattle,
true.
18 months, 2 years. I mean, you'd be lucky if you can get a permit in 2 years. West Coast, I mean, pretty much everywhere is like that.
Yeah.
But and because of that, I might have anticipated that it's going to take me 6 to 9 months, but in reality, it takes me 2 years. My IRR is shot. And so the way I like to look at it is I primarily track equity multiple or return on investment in simple terms. And my benchmark is 2 times. If we can get 3 times, 3.5 times original investment, great. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if I can double investors' money during the course of the project, I'm happy. And most of them are happy too. Early investors know that there's the value of the land, and worst comes to worst, there's still that land. Original landowner a lot of times tells me that they are uncomfortable borrowing against the land, and they want their partner to come in and finance everything else. To which I say, that's fine, but you realize that when the partner comes in, they are diluting you. And if the project doesn't get built, and it has to be liquidated and sold, you're getting less. So as long as everybody is comfortable and understands that, we can proceed. But generally speaking, just the fact that we went through entitlements and permitting and we took raw land from nothing to having permits, we've already created value. And typically there's value in that. And even if they decide not to go through with construction, we should be able to liquidate and, if not make profit, then at least return everybody's investments back.
Yeah. I love it, man. You got a great model, that's for sure. Um, so the last guest left you a question. You get to leave the next guest a question. Before I ask you yours, Eugene, what would you like to ask the next guest?
That's an interesting question or interesting request. Let's see. What is your projection of where U.S. economy is headed in the next 2 years?
Hmm, that one could get spicy. Um,
Not political, not political, strictly economic.
I will make that note. All right, man. Your question. You ready?
Yep.
How do you sustain what you want to follow through on? And the example that she gave was, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Okay, you lose the 10 pounds. What keeps you from starting to eat cake on the next day? So frame it any way you want, but that's the way that's the way she framed it to me. So how do you sustain a goal that you had that you've achieved?
I think in order to achieve a goal, one must create a pattern, a routine that they would follow in order to get there. And once they create that routine, they created the habit. Once that habit is established, you just keep at it. And I think that's the best solution I can have to that. It's like even in your example, you set the goal of losing weight. Well, it doesn't just happen because you wished it. You have to, you have to make certain efforts to get there, right? And when you get there, it's going to take some time. During that time, you build the habit. Once the habit is built, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have cake. Of course you are, but your habit isn't going to go away. It's like, it's like working out. It's like doing podcasts, um, any business goals, whatever goal we set, we figure out a path how to get there. And the walk down that path is what builds that sustainability. Just by getting to the top of the mountain doesn't mean that you're at the top. I've never seen anyone reach the top of the mountain, figurative mountain, and realize that that's it, they made it. Usually, when they get there, they realize that they only got to a small peak and then there's a higher peak, and they keep going.
Yep. Well, I think you nailed it, man. That was almost her entire show was about habits and routines. and small chunks and whatever. So I love it. I hope Hilda listens to this because
All
she'll
right,
be
all
like,
right.
"Man, Eugene nailed it." Well, buddy, anything else you want to leave the audience before we go?
No, I think this is it. I think the main well, I said no. Now I'm adding to it, but the main thing is going back to what I do in my world of real estate development. Is I think right now is an amazing time to start a new project. I think we've got a few years of sustained growth. I am worried about our economy in 2030s and what's going to happen beyond, just based on multiple different macro factors that are out there. But I think the next 5 years is going to be a next great cycle for real estate. And if anybody's sitting on a piece of land, I would encourage them to consider developing it. Not necessarily with me, but start looking into it, researching it. There's plenty of other consultants and developers out there. But yeah, I think that's kind of my parting thought.
Awesome, man. Well, this was a ton of fun. We'll have to do it again.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to.
All right, guys, that does it for me and Eugene. All of his information will be in the show notes. And until next time, keep it on the flip side. Cheers.